this crazy story called the David Parker Ray. He's called the Toy Box Killer. I'll tell you about him.
Maybe.
He got caught in like the 2010-ish or 15-ish. And for like 30 or 40 years, he was like murdering. He would capture women. Him and his wife would capture women. She's a free woman right now. And they would capture him. And the way he got caught. Let me tell you the way he got caught, and then I'll tell you what he did. The way he got caught is his daughter brought her friend to his house, and he would drug these women. And there's a specific concoction of drugs that is very public that he would give these women. Like, I can't even say the names because I don't know the chemical names that well. And he would tie them into like a chair that the women would get checkups in, and then he would assault them for like weeks and months on end until he no longer wants them, and then he would brainwash them. Like he would give them this concoction of drugs that would, and then for a few days, and while giving it to them, brainwash them. He would drop them off in a random place, and they'd forget whatever happened to them. Yeah. And long story short, when he got caught, they were able to find three. He videotaped this all, so this is how they know that there's so many victims. And they found like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these tapes. And he had 7 recorded tapes that they found that of just him telling the captive what he's going to do to them.
Yeah.
And so instead of him walking in and talking to them in person, he just plays this tape because that's how many people he like captures.
Jesus.
Yeah. And his wife was all part of this. So in 1990, an anonymous person called the FBI and said, "Hey, I know someone who murdered these missing women, blah, 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 blah," and they didn't take it serious. They thought it was a joke because the missing women were hookers or whores, so they didn't take her serious. Yeah. It was his daughter who called in on him because his daughter knew about it. It was her dad and her mom doing it, and because her mom got drunk and told her. And long story short, one of the daughter's friend ended up getting away, and she went to the police. They believed her. They opened up the investigation. They found all these tapes. The lead investigator that was in charge of going over the tapes, like the story is the way it's said is that she locked herself in there for days and watched all these tapes, and then she ended up shooting herself in the head with her service weapon. And I think that she might have no, I don't think he got charged with her death, but he's kind of like blamed for that too. Anyway, this dude, this is the craziest part. The way he was so smart when it comes like criminally smart that they didn't have enough evidence to get him for murder, and they knew he murdered people. They only had enough evidence for rape. But they knew from the videos that these women were murdered because he had videos of hundreds of women that that they could no longer profile to be alive, and they didn't have names for them. They just knew what they looked like.
Yeah. And
no one came forward to identify them. So they got his wife to flip on him. They gave her a plea bargain and said, "Hey, you tell us everything, we'll give you a deal."
Yeah.
She flipped on him. He flipped on her, and he said to them, because they had enough to give him life, but they still wanted to give the families of the people that were affected like some closure. Yeah. So they wanted to cut a deal with him to where he would spill all the beans.
Yeah.
Of like even all the people that they haven't called up to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So his deal was, you give my wife immunity and I'll tell you everything. And it legally went through. The day he was supposed to give his immunity,
Yeah.
He was literally in this, they took him from the jail to the station to do the interview, and he had a heart attack while waiting to have the interview.
So then he died?
Yep, and she's out on immunity. And she's a registered sex offender, so you could look her name up and see where she lives at all times.
Oh, that's fucked.
But she's a free woman. And she's definitely murdered people with this man. Because they're into, this BDSM, rape, torture shit.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. But she's a free woman. The daughter's in jail. The dad's dead. Killed himself. No one truly knows how many people he's killed. He's it's demented.
That's crazy.